Welcome to Azus ROG Global, where we celebrate PC gaming and push it forwards. And speaking of pushing, are the stewards just going to ignore this? Or this is the Crew Motorfest, which released in September 2023 and unleashed an addictive and anarchic new mode on racing gamers, Grand Races. These are 28-player PvP events where contact is very much turned on, and the rules are reduced to pick 3 vehicles, get through all the checkpoints, first across the finish line wins. It's obviously loads of fun, this Battle Royale meets racing game fusion. It's also notoriously tricky to actually win. So we're here to help with that. Frame rate obviously helps too here, as in any racing game, so if you're battling not just other drivers, but low FPS numbers, check out the ROG Strix gaming laptops. And now, bring on the tips. Okay, firstly, collisions are enabled in Grand Races, and that tells you a lot about how Ubisoft Ivory Tower wants these events to go down. They're supposed to be a bit chaotic. There's meant to be a bit of physics RNG and an element of luck in the first few corners where everyone's basically just piling on each other. So there's no point getting angry when someone else hits you. Don't worry about it, just embrace the fact that this is what the mode's all about and play the hand that you're dealt. Most of the time, other drivers aren't even trying to bang into you. It's just that there's 28 of you and you all want to win. And everyone's going a gazillion kilometers an hour. Plus, you're doing it too. Don't pretend you're not. See? With point 1 out of the way, you now know to expect that you're going to get collected in the first few corners once in a while. But that doesn't mean you have to go looking for it. In fact, staying out of trouble and keeping yourself in or around the top 10 for the first 2 minutes is really going to shape your whole race. And how do you do that? Well, avoid ramming wars on the straights. Aim to cut the first sharp corners as much as possible and brake early to flow through them. As a moving target, you'll be a tiny bit less likely to get T-boned and thrown into those horrible scrums up against the corner barriers. Hate that. If you can stay largely out of trouble for the first 2 or 3 turns, it's on. Tip 3, here's a cold, hard truth. Some vehicles in the Crew Motorfest are just better. The developer's gone to every effort to balance the 600 plus cars in its roster, but nevertheless, some models are just easier to handle, faster on the straights, and you see them pop up more often than not in the top positions. Each class has its heroes. The 2010 and 2016 Focus STs are monsters in Street Tier 1, and the Bugatti 110 takes some beating in the hypercar class. Search around for the vehicles that people keep recommending online, drive them, see how they feel, and then pick the community favourites that actually work with your driving style. Legendary parts don't affect performance in Grand Races, in fact, no parts do, but Pro Tuning does. Search for Pro Tune settings for your chosen vehicles and apply them. You will be amazed at the difference it can make to the way your car takes corners. Right, next is a really specific one for honing your driving style. In tarmac races, it's sometimes quicker to put a couple of wheels off the road than it is to brake. You might even see other drivers doing this, overtaking you mid-hairpin, half off the track, not braking, but instead letting the dewy Hawaiian grass do the stopping for them. You've got to be quite precise with this technique because going completely off the black stuff can easily send you into a spin and kill your forward momentum. But taking a really aggressive inside or outside line with 2 wheels hanging out will usually slow you down just enough to take the corner. Speaking of, now then, corners. There's a real art to picking your line through corners in this game, and it's important to remember that there are no track limits here. This is not Formula 1. The race is just about getting through all the checkpoint gates. If you do that, you're completing the course. So the racing line through a lot of those gates involves some creative pathfinding across tarmac streets and grass in order to turn right angles into nice flowing diagonals. The handling in this game is all about maintaining traction, keeping the back end under control so that you're not losing any forward momentum to drifting. And when you're in lower gears, you're much more likely to start kicking the back end out. So cutting corners and turning them into faster turns is crucial to keeping your speed up. A bit of sporting psychology next. People are going to try and punt you off the road. They're going to try and destroy your race. Why? Because it's multiplayer gaming. Jerks being jerks is one of the laws of the universe. But here's what you're going to do about it. Absolutely nothing. Firstly, because you're better than that, and you let your driving do the talk. But maybe even more importantly, because when you try and seek retaliation after an incident that you feel was malicious, it just never goes well, does it? You always end up losing a ton more time than if you just accepted the incident and got on with the rest of the race. And now the other player knows they got under your skin and that you threw away your whole race just to bump them back. Look, nobody wins in this scenario. Show the idiots of grand races what a pro you are by focusing completely on finishing in the fastest time possible, however much they disrupt your race. That's all for this video. Leave us a like if you want to support the channel and subscribe to us for more like this. We'll catch you in another one. See you out there on the track. Please don't T-bone me.